Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/JustNoMil. In today's episode, Gold Star for Husband. Update on Gold Star Husband. Update on Gold Star Husband. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Gold Star for Husband. Husband and I have been together for 3 years. The last 2 years MIL hasn't been the best at respecting boundaries and has done some things that were hurtful. To give an example of what I mean, on our wedding day, she asked the photographer that husband and I paid for to take a photo of just my family, everyone, except the bride. I told husband about this a few days later and he said he couldn't believe she would do that, but we would see when we got our photos back. Of course, when we got our wedding photos back, that photo was in the file. So when husband shared the file with his family, he excluded that one photo. MIL texted him shortly after saying the photos were beautiful and asking if there were any more of just the family. Mind you, we shared over 200 photos with them. When husband confronted her, she denied having asked for the photo that excluded me to be taken, and insisted she just wanted more photos if there were any since it was such a happy day. Well, over the summer, husband and I went through something hard that we shared on our social media, and his family was nowhere to be found during that time. This week, he expressed to MIL that we both felt unloved and/or uncared for since they never so much as sent a text message to show support. MIL had the audacity to blame it on me, saying she feels like I don't want contact with them. This is where it gets amazing. My husband wrote her a long email where he listed, in bullet points, all the things I have done these last few years to try and be close to that family, from making my FIL's birthday dinner for the whole family when we were first dating because my MIL was worn out from babysitting her grandkids, to the times I invited MIL to get pedicures and she turned me down. He then proceeded to say, and instead of recognizing her efforts to be close to you and reciprocating, she has been met with, and, once again, listed in bullet points the times my boundaries weren't respected, the photo incident, and many other things. MIL has not responded to the email, but the level of support and validation I feel from my husband now is incredible. I hope everyone out there experiences this at some point. Marry that man again. This time, with just the family invited. Oops, sorry, MIL didn't make the cut. As a wedding photographer, I do take pictures of just the bride and her family / just the groom and his family, then add the other back in for another shot. I wouldn't have thought twice, though I see the maliciousness of this particular woman. Love the way he handled everything. Definitely worthy. But you don't let scheming MILs deliberately go behind a bride's back when the bride is the one paying you, right? I'm sure his mother will respond with something like, I know OP dictated that email to you because my son would never do that, or something stupid like that. We talked about that, and if she says that, he said his reply is going to be actually, I called her into my office asking her to proofread something for me, and that's when she found out. Her response was to tell me she loved me, but I needed to soften my wording and not be so harsh, but since you asked for it, here's the original copy before she tried to spare your feelings. That is actually what happened because I don't have good relationships with my family and always hoped one day my spouse's family would fill that void. Even now, I still hold out hope she can somehow be the mom I never had, even though I know it's not likely. I love the bullet points and examples. You could respond in kind with a PowerPoint presentation on how much you love him. The email sounds so factual and logical, the best weapons against people who deny events. I love this idea, thank you. I am happy to hear DH has grown a spine, it's a losing battle if they aren't in your corner. I doubt she will take responsibility for all of these issues. She will either pretend she didn't get the letter, or give the non-apology, I'm sorry you feel that way, instead of saying, I'm sorry that my actions made you feel that way, I won't do it again like a normal person would. I would definitely start a list of consequences for her boundary stomping and enforcing them. LC, VLC, or NC may well be in your future, but those conversations need you and DH to decide. Throw some panties at that man. Sit on his face. The only accurate response. And tell him that you love of him. He'll sit on your face and tell you he loves you too. I just got an apology for being dragged out to FL from CA so my husband could be closer to family, and guess what? They're all still batshit crazy, and I've gotten to see MIL in her true form. Yes, validation, and now stuck in FL for 6 more months. He must have drank a lot of milk because that backbone strong as hell. I'll see myself out now. But like, yo, that's great he's standing up for you, because this sounds frustrating as hell. Especially the wedding photo thing. Who the hell does that? Actually, that's the one thing that I thought was super common. Maybe my family are just real weirdos? In doing posed group photos, usually, before the ceremony you shuffle people about in family groups. Just the groom and his parents, add his siblings in the next shot, then further out to include their spouses and any kids, another that includes the parents' siblings and any cousins to the groom. Like, every wedding I've been to has photos of one family, photos of the other family, and, of course, a few big group photos of everyone. Update on Gold Star husband. MIL finally replied to husband's email. She told him she was emotionally flooded and would only respond to a few points at a time. She did not validate anything he said or apologize. She only asked questions like, "So it sounds like you want the family to take the time to get to know your wife. What does that look like to you?" Even though he told her exactly what he wanted and gave examples of what that would look like. She also said if he blames things on her again, she's going to respond to the email as a whole and be done with it, and the cycle we are in will just continue. Only, we found out yesterday that we're pregnant. I told hubby he can tell his parents if he wants, but he doesn't yet. He said he wants to see if she'll actually respect him when it's just him trying to work things out with her, and if she doesn't, but tries to come crawling back once she finds out we're pregnant, he'll cut her off. If you guys thought he was protective before, finding out I'm pregnant has made him even more determined to set boundaries for our future baby. When she starts calling and love bombing about the baby and you dodge and weave like Muhammad Ali, and she has the nerve to ask Hubs about why you're avoiding her, he needs to say, "Oh, did you want to have a relationship with the baby while disrespecting my wife?" What would that look to you? See how she likes it when the shoe is on the other foot. I wouldn't tell Mil about the baby yet, as that's your medical stuff, even if it is a baby. She can't have it both ways. Currently, he's saying his family can find out when we post on social media around Thanksgiving. I like you. Just my level of petty. Please do not tell them that you are pregnant. It has a whole lot of pressure on the relationship, and to be honest, you really would need to know where this is going first before you add the extra element of a child. Also, he can hint that he wants to have a family with you and get their genuine reactions from that. I know truly where you stand with them. This could save years of poor behavior on their part and exposing your parenting to their undermining, etc., if they lay their cards on the table now, before they genuinely know that you're pregnant. In addition, when you tell people you are pregnant, add an extra month onto your due date. You will appreciate this at the other end of the pregnancy when you are due to pop and everyone is ever excited for you, and you're just completely not feeling it because you are huge and uncomfortable and want the baby out most of all, but everyone else is calling you daily, etc., and making plans to move into your house. This genuinely gives you an extra 4 weeks grace around the tough end of the pregnancy. So wait it out this end of the pregnancy to tell them in several weeks' time so you can extend the due date. You will be thankful that you did at the other end of this. A good response to the email is, "Mom, thank you for your reply, but I won't be accepting several emails with a few points at a time, particularly after the content of the last one. Please take the emails to a therapist and get yourself support there rather than picking at everything I said. I feel as if several emails of this nature from you would permanently damage our relationship because you're not understanding what I've said and your response is quite rude. I'm asking you to show insight into your behavior so that we can move forward with a positive relationship. You have damaged your relationship with me and you have damaged your relationship with OP with your behavior. This is an opportunity to have a positive relationship with you. I want a positive relationship with you, and I want OP to have a good relationship with you as well. But before this begins, you need to show insight into your behavior, take some steps or positive changes, and apologize to us for the behaviors in the past. I have chosen OP as my life partner and expect my family to respect my life choices. OP is very important to me and I value her. She is a very important person in my life and part of my family. I want to start to grow my family with her someday. I expect her to be treated with respect by my extended family. What does that look like to you? As per my previous email. Please see attached. LOL screenshot the previous email with red arrows or a red box around that part. Maybe include a coupon for glasses. He should respond by cutting and pasting the relevant section with a line like, per my last email. But I'm petty. You know, in high school sports there was always one member of a team that went above and beyond. The player who everyone knew, the player who if they weren't in other parents would yell at the coach to put them in because they were just that hardcore? Yeah, your husband is that player for this sub. It sounds like he has been rocking it and then some. I think he made a wise decision. If he tells her you're pregnant, then it would cue the love bombing and let's put all this in the past and start fresh for baby's sake. Congratulations on your impending miracle. No. For the baby's sake, we are going to work this sh*t out or there will be no relationship. You don't get a magic pass on your sh*t behavior just because you want access to a child. That doesn't benefit us or the child. That only benefits you, and you've done nothing to deserve it. The internet is full of all this talk about going full mama bear on someone. Everyone forgets daddy bear is usually bigger. She's gonna find herself on the outside looking in. Congrats on the future peanut. OP, I think waiting to tell his FO till much later in your pregnancy is a good idea. Given the history you have posted, gray rocking seems the way to go. I know that you hoped for a close, happy familial relationship with your ILs, but that seems as if it will never happen. Congrats, may your pregnancy go well and be easy. Thank you. Nice. She threatened you guys with a drama-free existence if you hold her accountable for her actions. If I were him, I would respond along the lines of, the questions you asked were already addressed in the email. Great thing about that is you can read and reread it as many times as it takes for that information to stick. So either you didn't read it, mother, or you are deliberately ignoring it, hoping I rug sweep everything I've tried to address because it's hard on you. That's ignoring how your behavior has been hard on us. Amazing how your feelings on being called out on your actions trumps how your actions affected us. Ball is in your court. You can move forward how I've outlined it in the email. You can also do exactly what you said you will do and address the email as a whole and be done with us. That is your call, mother, and I am going to insist you make that decision soon and would like it in writing. Just in case you do what you said you will do, and when people start harassing me as to why I cut you out of my life, I can show them it was your decision. Update on Gold Star husband. A little over a year ago, I posted here twice. DH and I now have a perfect, precious baby, and went in see with both his parents. Before LO was born, I made one last attempt to reach out to my MIL and resolve things. I expressed to her the kind of relationship I so desperately wanted with her in the beginning, one where I felt comfortable sharing all the exciting details about my pregnancy and would be excited for her to come to the hospital to meet her grandbaby. I shared that from my perspective until I got pregnant. She never texted me to see how I was doing, and then when she found out about LO, she bombarded me with texts, all about baby, my due date, etc. I shared that this made me feel like she viewed me as her son's incubator and not someone she valued as a person. Her response was dismissive and cold. Fast forward a few weeks. LO was premature and needed some NICU time. DH was struggling badly one day. NICU time is hard on both mom and dad, so I asked him if he wanted to have his mom come meet LO. I didn't want her there, but it wasn't all about me, it was also about what he, the baby's daddy, needed. DH said he couldn't invite MIL without also inviting FIL or his feelings would be hurt. Again, not what I wanted at all, but what he needed, so I said okay. NICU has a rule that only 2 people can be in the room at a time, so I go to the cafeteria to get food while DH lets his mom and then his dad meet LO. DH tells both of them to not share or post pics of LO. MIL asks DH why LO was born early and if there was something wrong with LO that made them have to come early. DH replied no, that LO was doing great, but my body gave out and I would have died had they not taken LO via C-section when they did. Huh, interesting, was MIL's only response. Neither of his parents so much as ask me how I'm feeling or thank me for allowing them to be there, but they text DH directly and thank him. Fast forward a month, I found out MIL sent pics she took of LO in the NICU to family. I lose my sh*t and confront her saying she had no right to do that DH and I did not want pics of LO attached to tubes floating around because 1, we wouldn't want that for ourselves, 2, we didn't want that to be what people saw of our miracle the first time. MIL invalidated me and told me it had never been an issue before. I told MIL yeah, and you've never had a grandchild that was a preemie before or a daughter-in-law who almost died giving birth, not that you give a rat's behind about that last part. I am done. And I blocked her on everything. DH makes one more attempt to talk to MIL himself, even bringing up how it hurt him and made him think she wishes I had died giving birth because of her interesting in the NICU and how she never showed concern for me after. He brought up how she was full of concern for him a few months prior when he had a small hernia repaired, so he knows she's capable of showing concern when she does care. She pulled more of the same, gaslighting, blaming me for everything, invalidating his feelings, etc., and tells DH we should take a break from each other. So my husband agrees, and to him, taking a break included blocking both her and his father on social media. FIL texts him the next day and wants to know if DH blocked him or if I did. DH tells him he did block them because MIL said we should all take a break, and to him, that meant blocking them on SM for a time. DH also points out that the fact that he tried to make me out to be this terrible person who would block someone without his permission/consent is part of the problem and why he feels a break is needed. FIL replies that he was wondering if the son he raised or the woman he married blocked him, and then went on a hateful tirade about how both DH and I are so toxic to MIL and FIL and immature. FIL/MIL have not reached out or spoken to DH since this day, which was 3 months ago. DH is holding firm on going NC with his parents because he doesn't want our LO growing up around anyone who will teach them that they're not allowed to have boundaries, that it's okay to disrespect other people's boundaries, or our children to see anyone treat their mother poorly, but he's hurting. I've told DH that I won't be upset if he tries to talk to and have a relationship with them again if that's what he needs, but he's adamant that he's set his boundary, he needs to hold on to it. I am enjoying the lack of drama not having them around brings, but I absolutely hate seeing DH so sad. If you've read this far, thank you, and any advice on how to help DH is welcome. I've told DH that I won't be upset if he tries to talk to and have a relationship with them again, but I absolutely hate seeing DH so sad. This sets off alarm bells for me, because on this sub we see so many partners urge contact, because it's the right thing to do, or she's his mother, after all. It's always a mistake. You have to keep it clear in your mind. He's not sad about the estrangement. Getting back together with them will not resolve the problem. He's sad because he's facing the cold, hard fact that his parents suck. He's sad because he's remembering all the things from his childhood that were wrong and hurtful. He's looking at his own child with love and wondering how in the world anyone could treat their baby that way. He's mourning for the parents he never had, and for the child he was. Don't push him back towards them. You'll regret it. It's understandable that DH is sad. He has finally come to the realization that both of his parents are assholes. Your husband needs therapy. He's grieving a loss and needs help navigating those feelings. I'd really encourage him to seek some help. He's an awesome husband though, so in the meantime give him all the love and support that you can. Don't bash his parents, although they deserve it. Good luck. Your husband is a rock star. He did what he needed to do, and sadly sometimes that means taking one for the team, and it hurts. I've had to do it with my family, and despite knowing that it's for the best, I still miss them. I found talking it through with a therapist regularly helps. And reaching out and finding new friends and people to help fill that support gap helps. Glad your LO is doing well and hope you're recovering nicely too. I hope DH starts feeling better soon too. I'm in a similar situation to that of your husband. I've been NC with them since May. I blocked them and told them I wouldn't communicate with them further without a therapist present. Joke's on me, they really gaff. I started seeing a therapist about it in July, and it's made an enormous difference. I'm still sad about everything, but at least I can manage the sadness and it's not overwhelming anymore. The downside is that we've gone over a lot of stuff from my childhood and early adulthood, and I've realized just how awful they were. A lot of things that I thought were normal were really not. I knew my relationship with my parents was damaged before, but I thought it was reparable, and now I just don't think that it is. It's not exactly a downside, I guess, because I'm glad I can see things for what they were, but man, does it ever suck to try and process it. If your husband is willing, I think therapy would be good for him. It might be difficult for him to re-examine his relationship with them, but he'll feel better in the end. He's lucky to have such a supportive partner through all of this. Also, your post focused mainly on DH's feelings about what happened. It's really generous of you to be taking care of his emotional needs, but make sure you're not doing it at the expense of your own mental well-being. If inviting them back into your lives would be harmful to you, you don't need to encourage it. If you can swing it, I know therapy can be expensive, you could consider talking to somebody about your own trauma surrounding Elo's birth and your Nil's treatment of you. Hey, as the sister of a preemie who is now an adult in her 30s, thank you for holding firm to your boundaries about not posting pictures of your child in the NICU. While my mother has pictures of my baby sister from that time, my baby sister is extremely uncomfortable with anyone but very immediate family seeing those photos of her attached to tubes. My mother gave her the choice, and it has given her a lot of autonomy over her own medical trauma from that time in her life. You are already such a good mom in the little ways as well as the big ways. If he'll read, or do audiobooks, have him check out the book Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. I found this book to be immensely helpful, because it really puts the onus in a parent/child relationship in the right places. It helped me deal with this same idea of boundaries and wanting to teach my kid appropriate boundaries when my mom was so incapable of them. People like this will just draw you into their cycle over and over again, so be there for DH till he realizes it's not worth the trouble. Also, therapy. All the therapy. Best of luck to you both. This book has made such a huge difference with my husband. You both are working together, and if you struggle, you could consider getting professional help to talk to, provide tools, support, and strategies for when you attempt to talk with them again. Big if, I know. I think that in a couple of months, DH will realize how much stress they caused, and chances are he'll enjoy the lack of drama as well. Both of you now focus on what is important, which is your LO. Congratulations, by the way, and the in-law question is less important than building your own family. One tip, also work on your own family traditions. Being on holiday for Christmas, for example, you, DH and LO, works wonders for decreasing stress. We've been doing this for 10 years now, not a single regret. Well done on setting the boundaries, and just remind each other that they chose to create this distance, not either of you. Just because a baby is involved, that does not cure evil. Stop giving people chances to disregard and disrespect you. Hopefully this is the last time. Let your husband deal with them, and they should never be allowed to step foot inside of y'all's home, nor should they be allowed LO benefits. They can't respect both parents, they get 0. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.